Racecourse is the most beautiful racetrack in America, hands down.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to the breeding stock sale. Book one. Good to have you back with us.
And a good Friday night, everybody. Welcome into the Keeneland Look Ahead. I'm Jeremy Plonk from Horse Player Now. Happy you're spending part of your evening with me. Handicapping ahead for the Saturday card, April 23rd at Keeneland, where we've got dual stakes races coming up on Saturday. The Ben Ally on the main track in the handicap division. And then we've got the Turf Marathoner squaring off in the Grade 2 Elkhorn. More than $600,000 in purses between those two stakes races. And a big 10-race card where we've got 4 fields of 11 or more. Good field sizes to work with on the Saturday program. Some high-end marquee racing. That's what we're looking for when we set up and try to make some gambles. So what we'll do in this podcast, if you've been watching all season, you know we're going to give you a big picture look at how I see the card. We'll tell you where the multi-race wagers are starting, where the key bets on the day are, where we can kind of attack. We had a nice winner today. Fenwick Island was a horse who we thought could get 12-1 on, got bet down, and we only got the 1080 on the winner. But one of our key plays from today coming through, and that's been a good theme throughout the meet. You got to get those price horses in. We got another one in today, so let's see if we can keep that good streak going. We'll recap what happened on the Wednesday program first up, and we'll also get the ticker going at the bottom of the screen here to give you some of the particulars on the Saturday card at Keeneland. Again, featuring the Ben Ally and the Elkhorn. A little carryover in the Super High Five, just over $11,000, and should be a great day for racing, according to the weathermen. They're telling us sunny and 82 degrees tomorrow, so you can't complain about that. Based on what we had opening weekend when there was snow falling on opening day, 82 by day 11 of the meet, which Saturday will be. We are 10 of 15 days into this stand at Keeneland, so 5 more race cards. We've got Saturday and Sunday this week, and then closing week will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, before the action shifts to Churchill Downs for their opening day card a week out from the Kentucky Derby. I don't know. Do the math here. This is Friday night. We are, 15 days from the Kentucky Derby right now, doing the math. So high times for trainers and horsemen and fans alike, trying to see which horses will prep best towards the Kentucky Derby. Big morning of workouts, I'm sure, to come Saturday and Sunday this week, and of course Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week as well for those Derby hopefuls. Our recap of the Friday card. Well, Luis Saez had himself a day. We'll show you one of his big wins on the card in the Double Dog Dare Stakes in just a moment. He had 3 on the program. Eddie Keneally, who had 3 wins last week, had his best week at Keeneland in about 3 or 4 years last week. He's right back at it. He had 2 wins on the card today. Keneally's really on a roll the last couple weeks here at Keeneland, and his horses are getting bet. That's the one we had as one of our key plays of the day, and the 12-1 morning line evaporated and became, a $10, $11 horse. So people are betting Eddie Keneally, as we mentioned on the show last night. For good reason, he's winning, and we got him on one of them today. And in the last race, the horse named Shannon, 24-1, another $50 plus winner. That is the 9th horse this meet to win at 20-1 or more. Again, like we said, we are only 10 days into this meet, and we've had 9 winners at 20-1 or more. That is the most in a spring meet in the dirt era. We're going back through our database, which you can search yourself free at Keeneland.com, the handicappers database, where I get a lot of the information and stats and trends that I utilize. You can go through and get some facts and figures to go along with the stats and the handicapping angles as well. But I couldn't find another spring meet that had more than 8 winners at 20-1 or more. Through day 10, we have already had 9. The last time a spring meet had 10 winners at 20-1 or more was back in the Polytrack era. I believe 2006 or 2008 in the spring meet had those 10 winners. So Historic bombs coming in at Keeneland with their frequency. We'll see if that continues. Shannon in the last race was coming off like a year-and-a-half layoff. Nacho Correas brought that one back off the bench to the winner's circle. But the big race that we certainly want to show you, if you haven't seen it, Malathat in her return in the Double Dog Dare Stakes. Let's take it gate to wire. When we come back, we'll get a look at the Saturday card.
And they're off in the Baird Double Dog Dare Stakes. There goes Lady Mystify, and there goes Super Quick. Crazy Beautiful's going to join that pair as they head down to the first turn. Super Quick will have the lead from the inside. Lady Mystify will go second on the outside. Crazy Beautiful is in third position. And then Malathat, who has switched lanes off the rail from the inside starting spot, is a lane off the rail now in the fourth position, just over 5 lengths off the early leads. Got Audrey's Time to her inside, and Bonnie South will trail early. Opening quarter is on the board in 23.74 seconds. On to the backstretch they go. Lady Mystify, the leader now. Lady Mystify has opened up by nearly 3 lengths. Super Quick is second by 6. Back to Crazy Beautiful in third a length. Malathat fourth on the outside. Audrey's Time is fifth back toward the inside, and a gap of 2.5 more back to Bonnie South, who is last after an opening half mile in 46.89 seconds. Lady Mystify, the leader. Lady Mystify leads it by nearly 4 lengths onto the far turn. Super Quick is second by 3. Malathat third a half length just outside of Crazy Beautiful. Audrey's Time is next, and Bonnie South is last as they round the far turn. Lady Mystify still leads it. Lady Mystify by 3.5 lengths back to Super Quick, who's second a length. Malathat is third up on the outside as they come to the quarter pole. Then Crazy Beautiful, Bonnie South, who tries to get going from the back, and then Audrey's Time last, top of the short stretch. Lady Mystify has been collared now by all kinds of challengers. Malathat, Super Quick, Bonnie South on the far outside as they move by the 8th pole. Final furlong of the Baird Double Dog Dare. Malathat to the lead. Bonnie South is running on from the outside towards second. Malathat the leader. Bonnie South running out of time. Here's the wire. Malathat, a successful season's debut, winning the Baird Double Dog Dare under John Velasquez.
So last year's Kentucky Oaks winner back in a big way, winning the Double Dog Dare Stakes. Of course, she also won the Ashland here last year as a 3-year-old and concluded her season with a narrow 4th place finish, a narrow defeat in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. That will be the goal back here at Keeneland when the Breeders' Cup returns to Lexington in November. She'll have a couple races between now and then, to be sure, probably on the Naira circuit for Todd Pletcher. And then we expect to see Malathat maybe for the Spinster here to get the local prep over the track. And Todd supports the Spinster quite a bit over the years. I would not be surprised at all if we see her back here in the fall meet for the Spinster for the tune-up towards the Breeders' Cup Distaff. But Malathat in victory today under Luis Saez, one of his 3 wins on the card. Speaking of jockeys, we got a little bit of news for you on the Saturday program. 3 jockeys prominent here at the Keeneland meet will be on the road riding the Apple Blossom and Oaklawn Handicap card at Oaklawn Park in Arkansas on Saturday. Joel Rosario, Jose Ortiz, and Florent Giroux are all on the road. But the strength of this jockey colony is such that Tyler Gaffleone's still here, Flavian Pratt's still here, Luis Saez, who just won 3 races on the card today, is still here, and oh yeah, Irad Ortiz is still here. So 3 major boppers on the road, and you still have 4 megastar jocks here in the colony. So it's not one of those where, these couple guys are on the road, so these other jocks are going to pick up all the scraps and get these mounts that they normally wouldn't have and have a great day. You still got to beat 4 major bangers. Tyler Gaffleone. Did I mention Tyler Gaffleone among those 4? I don't even think I did. He's the leading jockey here at Keeneland over the last year and a half. So you got 5 big boppers, and apologies to Tyler for not throwing him in that mix. What a jockey colony. Holy moly. I mean, you're 8 deep with maybe the 8 best jockeys in America right now here at Keeneland during this meet. Fantastic. John Velasquez as well. Forget about the Hall of Famer. You throw him in there at number 9. I mean, what a list of riders we have at Keeneland this season. Okay, let's take a look at the Saturday card as we change gears and move towards the dual stakes program with the Elkhorn and the Ben Ali. We will give you the big picture. which is my overview from above the card, looking down on how the things shake out on a 10-race program here at Keeneland. Pick 5 is going to start in race number 1. The pick 4 will start in race 2. That's how you read the graph down through. Pick 6 begins in race number 5. The green TP3 is the Keeneland Turf Pick 3, the $3 minimum bet. That will be in races 5, 7, and 9 on the program. Late pick 5 gets underway in the 6th. The late pick 4 in the 7th. Stakes races in the 8th and 9th. First up, the 8th will be the Ben Ali on the main track. Then the Elkhorn to conclude the Turf Pick 3 will be race number 9. Now, my key plays each day at the bottom of the screen. Like I tell you, sometimes, Wednesday's card, for instance, we had 4 winners, but none of our key bets won. They were chalky horses. And I said, even though you have a nice day as a public handicapper, it wasn't really a good day for making any money. On the flip side is we hit one of our 3 big plays, and 2 of the 3 ran really well on the Friday card, and hitting one of those 3 big plays is better than pairing together 3 or 4 chalky winners. We had 4 winners overall on the day from a public handicapping standpoint, but we got that big 12-1 morning line in as one of our key plays on Friday. That's what we need to do to be productive on this Saturday card as well. And you see my 3 key plays of the day. Race number 5, I've got a price player in that race who almost won at 19-1 in the fall meet. So if you say, well, I don't know about this horse at a price, darn near pulled the upset last year during the fall meet. That's in race number 5, first leg of the Turf Pick 3. Race number 7, which happens to be the second leg of the Turf Pick 3, is a key race play. A key race is when a race has productive alumni who come out of it and run really well. You start to assume, well, if the second place finisher ran good out of this race and the third place finisher ran good out of this race, other horses in this race could be very competitive when they return. Well, we've already had one winner pay a handsome price, I believe $16, $17 winner already this meet out of this key race. Using it from the fall meet will be the second time at the meet that we can get another 14, 15, 16 kind of dollar horse. That's our key play in race number 2. We'll talk about that when we get to our individual race handicapping. And then in race number 9, the Elkhorn has as much speed as a 1.5-mile turf race has ever had that I can recall on paper. There's just so many front runners in there. I think there's some long shot closers all coming from off the pace. If we can match up 2 out of those 3 somehow, I think we can get some real bingo in the exotic. So the Elkhorn closers in race number 9. Now, I always tell you that the reason you want to make a big picture like this is after you handicap, you're trying to fit, squares into squares and circles into circles. When you have a day where horses that you like in particular races, for whatever the handicapping reason is, if you can match them up into the right kind of bets, you can maximize your exposure on the day and make the most amount of money off of your opinions. Now, when I handicapped this card, I didn't go out deliberately and say, boy, I want to find 3 key plays in the Keeneland Turf Pick 3. You've seen me in this space throughout the course of the meet. There have been days where I said, I don't think the Keeneland Turf Pick 3 is going to pay much today. I don't know if we can get any kind of prices, that sort of thing. I handicapped. I looked at who I thought the 3 best plays on the card were for value, for my strength of my opinion. And they happen to fall in races 5, 7, and 9. When you come and map it out and you look at the Keeneland Turf Pick 3, then voila, 5, 7, and 9. So if there is a day where I'm going to bet the Keeneland Turf Pick 3 this meet, it is Saturday. And that's what you want to do. You want to match up your best opinions and put them in the wagers that can make you the most amount of money. So if you have a horse who's a key horse in the second race on the card, well, the second race on the card, as we take a look at the big board, starts the pick 4, but it's also the second leg of the early pick 5. So if you have a strong opinion in race number 2, you're looking at, wow, I've got one leg of the pick 5 knocked down. I got a quarter of the pick 4 knocked down just on that one opinion. So that's how you're trying to strategize when you look from the big picture on how you're going to maximize your plays during the course of the day. But I can tell you this, the Keeneland Turf Pick 3, I'm liking that sunny skies and 82-degree forecast as well because I feel 100% confident we will be on the grass and have a great turf course to run over. Let's get into our handicapping now. 10 races on the card. We'll go through each and every one of them for you over the next 25 minutes or so. We start in race number 1 by looking at the Keeneland Handicappers Consensus. This is free at Keeneland.com. You get the picks from Scott Hazelton, Tom Leach, myself, Gabby Gaudette, Kim Nelson. Scott Hazelton had a 6-win day on Thursday. He came back today, and let's take a look at the tally. 1, 2, 3, 4 winners for Scott again. It was on the chalkier side today, but he did get Jelly Nougat at $8 in race number 3. So Scott's coming off with 10 for the last 19. He's had 2 really, really good days back-to-back. I've had 4 each day, 8 for the last 19. But Scott Hazelton, the hot hand, no doubt, in the handicapping ranks. 4 of us have Relentless Dancer in race number 1. And this is a race for $40,000 claiming sprinters going 6 furlongs. This is a classification where the horses from Fairgrounds have had a lot of success in the past. They've won 7 of the 15 sprint races at this 6 furlong distance in the mid-level claiming ranks, 25 to 75,000. These mid to upper level claiming race sprints have been great places for Fairgrounds horses. So Relentless Dancer fits very nicely. Mike Maker having a big week. I think he's won 4 or 5 races already this week. As we tip towards the weekend, Luis Saez rides Relentless Dancer coming off a 3-win day. There is a lot to like there. I think he's clearly the horse to beat. And Relentless Dancer, when you see 4 of the 5 handicappers here, you're probably looking at a horse who's going to be favored and probably maybe goes sub 2 to 1. When 4 or 5 handicappers pick a horse in a 7-horse field, we're probably looking at a short price favorite. So, as you strategize and you look ahead to pick 4 or a pick 5, do we have a short price favorite in race number 1? If you surmise that favorite is kind of a one punch kind of ticket, then maybe you're looking at a pick 5 because the pick 4 is going to cost you whatever number of combinations you use, and then a pick 5 where you single only cost you 1 times what the pick 4 was, which is the same cost. So if you have a horse you absolutely love in the first leg of a pick 5, it's better to play the pick 5 than it is the pick 4 because you give yourself a chance to hit for a much better number, a much better return, and you're not increasing the cost of your ticket at all. You've got the exact same number of combinations over 5 races as you do 4 because you're just multiplying by that factor of 1 in the other race. Now, I will say this. We all agree on Relentless Dancer as the top pick and the horse to beat in this race, but I thought this was a very difficult race. In fact, I think it's kind of a spread race. And so if everybody dives in on Relentless Dancer, this is a case where I have a horse picked on top as a public handicapper. I think he's the most likely winner. But I want more coverage than just him. I don't think he's a standout in this race. If he wins, I'll be happy that he wins. But if they bet him down heavy with the Maker Saez factor, there are some other good options in this race that I think you can explore. Number 2, yes, he can. Also a horse in from the Fairgrounds. The 4, Charge the Line, comes in from the Fairgrounds. The 6, Coppertown's going to get played for Wesley Ward. Now, this is a horse who's got 2 wins and 4 starts here at Keeneland. Coppertown's going to get bet. Spycraft the 5 for that red-hot Eddie Keneally barn. You can already see that I'm a couple horses into this, and you could go 4 or 5 deep in this 7-horse field. So maybe you zig a little when others zag. I think the Ward horses, I look further down the page, I probably misspoke a little bit by saying that Relentless Dancer is going to be, low sub 2 to 1 kind of even money type horse because Coppertown's going to get bet a lot too. So you got 2 horses that are going to divide the money there. But if you get beyond the big 2 in that race, a lot of folks are not going to go more than 2 deep in there. So try to zig when others zag and see how it turns out. I think it's a very tough race with good options. A lot of times tough races are, races where you just can't find a horse you like at all. This is one where I think there are 4 or 5 that have a legitimate chance in a small field of 7. Let's turn our attention to race number 2. This is a maiden special weight, 5.5 furlong on the turf. And look, these races have been very formful over the years. We have not had many of them. The first turf sprints for the maiden specials were offered in a spring meet last year. Wesley Ward won all 4 of them. All 4 of them. He swept the deal. He's got the 8 Lawmaker and the 10 Uptown Hustler, both by Uncle Mo and Midshipman, who were outstanding juveniles. This is kind of win early sires, win early pedigrees. Ward goes to Velasquez on Lawmaker, Irad on Uptown Hustler. Separating the 2 of them, I don't quite know how you do it on paper, but the works for the 10 Uptown Hustler do look faster. Both of these horses do have Keeneland workouts, which I always like to see with the 2-year-olds. Not a lot of trends that we can talk about and fits in the turf sprints for the 2-year-olds because we just simply haven't had that many of them. But what we do know is Wesley Ward was undefeated in these races last year. That one should be very, very tough between the 8 Lawmaker and the 10 Uptown Hustler. Rum and Tonic, the 7, again, it could be a daily double sweep for Mike Maker and Luis Saez. They team up. They've got the horse Relentless Dancer in the first that we talked about. They team up here with Rum and Tonic, a horse who comes off the layoff, did run last year as a 2-year-old. And so these are 3-year-old maiden specials on the turf sprints. But again, we don't have a lot of these in the spring, the maiden specials on the turf. Rum and Tonic, the 3-year-old coming off of last year's performances, going longer on the turf, shortens distance, freshens up, has a bullet workout. That's that LTB angle that I've talked about, layoff, turn back in distance, bullet workout. He's got all three, so those are three good check boxes to have coming back, especially turf sprinting. So the 7 Rum and Tonic certainly could play in this race. So I think you use the 2 Wards, the 8, the 10. The 7 Rum and Tonic one, I think you definitely want to consider in there as well. Wesley is apt to scratch horses when he's got 2 entered. So if he scratches one, either Lawmaker or Uptown Hustler, I think you definitely want to slip Rum and Tonic in there then in that spot and cover that one, because Ward could sweep the first 2 on the card. He's got 2 good options with Coppertown and then the 2 horses in race number 2. Same with Mike Maker. He's got Relentless Dancer in the opener, and then you've got a strong chance in here with Rum and Tonic as well. So it could be Maker in the double, could be Wesley Ward in the double. Maybe they split it up. But those look like the most logical players in the first couple. If we can get an upset in the opener, I think you're more likely to see an upset beyond Ward and Maker in the first race, even though it's a 7-horse field. In race number 2, I think between Ward and Maker, you probably have that maiden special turf sprint covered. Let's take a look at what the public handicappers have in race number 3 as we look across the handicappers consensus box. It's Oncoming Train for Scott. Same for Tom. Same for me. Gabby says no can do, and Kim says no can do. They don't like Oncoming Train at all. Dixie Star for Gabby, and the one Dixie's 2 Stents for Kim. So the guys are on Oncoming Train. The ladies are taking a complete stand against the horse. Something's got to give in that battle of the handicappers box. Tells you that there are 3 different horses in this race that are picked on top. Certainly the consensus play would be Oncoming Train with 3 top picks. Here's why I like Oncoming Train. This is a horse who debuted a winner here at Keeneland back in the fall of 2020 in a maiden special. This is a $40,000 claimer, non-winners at 2 lifetime. Non-winners at 2 means they've only won 1 in their career, and I always like to go back and look which race did these horses win, what's their A-level achievement in their career to this point, who's won for the highest level. Maiden special here at Keeneland. Oncoming Train's got the best maiden win of any horse in here. I always like that angle. Greg Foley, Tyler Gaffalione team up here. The Fairgrounds horses have run well in the non-winners of 2 races. The Turfway horses have run well in the non-winners of 2. Those tend to be the 2 circuits you're looking for in these kind of races. Oncoming Train does come out of the Fairgrounds race last time out. You want horses who definitely have some speed here. You don't want to be far off of it. Lower level claiming, non-winners of 2 lifetime, 6 furlongs. Get horses that are up near the lead. You don't want them coming from far off of it. I think Oncoming Train can be right up near the pace. Was pressing it last time at Fairgrounds, going 6 furlongs. So Oncoming Train, the top pick in here for me. Dark Timbers one I think you want to watch. I don't like horses coming off the layoff, though, in this kind of situation. None of the 15 winners we've had in these non-winners of 2 races going 6 furlongs in the spring, 16 of them actually. None of those 16 races were won by horses making their first start of the year. And you're not looking at a high-class animal, right? So the horses who aren't high-class and have barns that are kind of like waiting for big races, they need to run more frequently, and they need to run in and out of form and in and out of shape, and when they're feeling good, they're going to get the win. So at a non-winners at 2 lifetime level, you can kind of see why this is not a good profile coming off a long layoff from last year to this year, like we see in some of the classy turf races and that sort of thing. Some of the stakes races have the profile at Keeneland where the horses coming back first time of the year have done exceptionally well. But again, I always tell you with these stats, right? It's not just numbers. It's not just throwing stuff out there. Does it make sense to you? It does make sense that a lower level non-winners at 2 claiming race, that you kind of need some frequency and you need some horses who are running in form. So, but 8 Dark Timber does interest me in the respect that this is Jose D'Angelo and Luis Saez. Saez obviously hot, but D'Angelo throws the proverbial kitchen sink. It's a class drop, gelded since the last start. They add blinkers. And if you follow Gulfstream Park, especially after the championship meet ends, Jose D'Angelo is one of the highest percentage trainers in America over the last, month or 2. His horses run, and he hasn't had success so far early in the Keeneland meet with a couple horses that he's brought up here, but I think he's got a couple shots over the course of this weekend where he might be live. Dark Timber's worth a look in here, but I'm solidly on the 5 Oncoming Train, and we'll see if we can get by in that respect. Coffee with Alex, another one from Fairgrounds. Again, Fairgrounds Turfway, they're about even Steven when it comes to the non-winners at 2 lifetime, but that's a look at race number 3. We'll see if the guys have it or the gals have it there. 4th on the card is Mile and a 16th maiden claiming race. Fourth race on the program. Doesn't set up in terms of the big picture of any new wagers starting in here, but it could be one of the keys to the early pick 4 and pick 5. It'll be the fourth leg of the pick 5. Third leg of the pick 4 there, which begins in race number 2. Maiden 16th on the main track. Maiden claimers here. Sometimes it's just survival with a horse with some stamina in these Maiden 16th races. No horse really sets out in their career to go long in a maiden claiming race. They kind of end up here. They weren't fast enough to win. They weren't fast enough to compete in a maiden special, so they had to drop in class. They weren't fast enough to win in most of the short maiden races that we see, so they end up going long. A long maiden claimer, you've got the look of a horse who just needs to find the right company. And so in these races, favorites have done well, though. You talk about, well, they're unreliable. Now, the public dopes these races out really good. We've had 36 maiden claimers on the dirt in spring meets over the years, 15 winning favorites. So 15 for 36, 18 for 36 would be 50%. So they're batting upper 40% here. But we do see some long shots come in. 6 of those 36 winners, 1 out of 6 winners has been 10 to 1 or more. That's stronger than you're used to seeing in terms of long shot production. So these are kind of feast or famine. The public either really has the right horse or it could get a little bit off the rails. So in your handicapping, keep that in mind. And as you structure tickets, don't be afraid of a price in these races. But if you like the favorite, they're probably reliable, almost to the tune 45% or so, as reliable as any category you're going to see in racing with favorites winning at that kind of percentage, especially at a meet like Keeneland. So maiden claimers going long. Kenny McPeak does really well with these kind of horses in the fall meet. That's kind of his MO in the fall. In the spring, he's not quite as successful with it. Maiden claimers going long on the main, but he's got the 5 in here, Salad. And I think on the class drop, that's just the right horse here. American Pharaoh's son, 4-year-old filly, I should say, a daughter of American Pharaoh. Salad gets Brian Hernandez aboard, and just, the question with Salad, it won't be the class. I think is definitely run against a better class of horse than many of these have to this point. It's going to be about speed. This horse has had a couple races where she's been able to kind of be up near the pace, but lately she's been falling behind. So Salad's picked on top by Scott Hazelton, by myself, and by Kim Nelson. 3 of us have Salad on top. Gabby's got Salad second, and Tom Leach has that runner picked third. Classy Miss obviously gets some calls, the 6 Emerald. I mean, it kind of looks like 5, 1, and 6. As you go around, you see a lot of 5, 1, 6. Gabby, me, Tom, we all have 5, 1, 6 in some combination. Scott and Kim also have the 5 to 1 or the 6 as 2/3 of their deals. So if you're looking at a multi-race play, and these races have, the 45% winning favorites, that sort of thing like that, take the favorite, take another price or 2 in there, a horse that you want to mix in. But 5, 6, and 1 looks like it probably gets you through race number 4. The 6 Emerald is interesting to me here. I almost picked this horse on top. I don't like the horses stretching out in distance from 6 furlongs. 32 of the 36 winners of this race stay close to the pace, but only 4 of the winners have won sprint the route. So 36 races like this, there's only been 4 sprint the route winners, horses who ran a mile or less than a mile last time. That's one of the reasons I don't like Emerald in here, but the reason I do like Emerald is this is a filly by Union Rags, and Union Rags was the top sire at Keeneland in 2021, looking for a breakthrough winner here in the spring meet, but we know the Union Rags horses can run over this track, and first time here at Keeneland, I would not be surprised if Emerald runs a good race. Question here, too, is the 3-year-olds taking on the elders. With Salad, the 5, you get a 4-year-old taking on younger 3-year-old fillies, but Salad will give up 8 pounds. So that's the debate. That's the dilemma. But 5, 6, and 1 in race number 4 probably get you to the church on time and get you to the wire and hopefully to the pay line in the 4th race. 5th on the card is the start of the pick 6. It wraps up the pick 4 and the pick 5 from the early portions, right? So this is a really key race, and it's also the start of the Keeneland Turf pick 3. So you'd benefit yourself if you had something you really liked in this race. And I've got a horse that I like in here, and that's a good situation to be in the way the card sets up. And that horse that we're going to take a shot with is a horse named Joy of Painting. Joy of Painting, and we go to the big board, is going to be the top pick for me, and you're not going to look around and see any other Joy of Paintings except Kim Nelson has the runner in second. I love when I'm on an island like this, that makes me feel like I'm seeing something the others aren't. Sometimes you're just completely wrong and you're seeing the boogeyman, but other times you've actually got something. And look, Joy of Painting back here in the fall, October 24th, a mile on the turf, led all the way, got beat at the end in a good first level allowance race. Now comes back to Keeneland, had one race at Gulfstream over the winter where things just went completely wrong. Things did not work out well there, but has worked well since. Rusty Arnold's had a really good record here. The last 3 years, he's won 5 races during the third week of the meet. He saves horses for later in the meet and tries to find a little bit easier spot for him than the tougher races at the front end of the meet. I think Joy of Painting back here almost upset the field at 19-1 in the fall meet. I think we're going to know in the first quarter mile. If Joy of Painting shows speed, when she's going to run, she gets out of the gate, and she's got her mind on business. If she breaks towards the back of the pack, all bets are off. In fact, you probably want to just start ripping up the ticket probably if she starts towards the back of the pack. If she breaks, I think she's into this race early, and I think she's going to hang around a long, long way. There's not a lot of early pace in this race, so this is a situation in race number 5 where we've got a price player, a good morning line odds. I believe we're looking at something like 8-1 in the morning line on Joy of Painting, and I think we'll get every bit of that price, if not more. Others in this race to consider, the 9 Ensemble, first time in the U.S., Brendan Walsh, Flavian Pratt, a lot to like there. Nevisian Sunrise is a horse who was supposed to run early in the meet and scratched. This is a Chad Brown, well-bred blue blood filly. Nevisian Sunrise by Warfront out of My Miss Sophia. She's really well-bred. The 6 Designer Ready, really well-bred. Tappet out of Bel Air Beauty, who was a winner of the Alcibiades here back in the Polytrack era. So there's some blue-blooded pedigrees in here. The 5's definitely going to get bet. The Chad Brown runner with Irada Ortiz and that big pedigree. I think the 6 is going to take some money. I think the 9 will take some money. And they're all horses you want to consider. The 7, Commander's Palace, also one that's going to take some money. So that means Joy of Painting is going to get let go. I really think we're going to see a double-digit price on this one, 10-1 or more. So I'm excited to try to attack with Joy of Painting in race number 5. And if we can pull that off, look where we're starting on the pick 3, the turf pick 3. At a nice price in race number 5. Could be an anchor to our pick 4 and an anchor to our pick 5. And look, having a price in race number 5 doesn't scare anybody off on these 10 race cards, because remember last Saturday, Eben was our best bet of the day in race number 5, key to all those multi-race wagers, and popped in and paid $44 to win. So I don't think we're going to get 44 if we're lucky enough to get the win with Joy of Painting, but I think we're going to get 26-28. I think the horse will be 12-14-1, something like that, maybe $30 on the return in race number 5. But that's one of our key plays. Let's go to the 6th on the card. This will start the back half of the program, and the late pick 5 starts here. I've got Faith's Reward. It's almost a default pick in here. 6th race on the card, 7 furlong maiden special. Lining up the trends like I like to do. There's not a real good fit. Lining up the past performances, I just don't feel like there's any edge between these horses. I'm really torn in race number 6. I went with the 5, Faith's Reward, coming out of races at Oaklawn. The Oaklawn horses have just been terrible at this meet. They haven't had any success, hardly at all. But this is Steve Asmussen. This is an Uncle Mo out of the Kentucky Oaks winner, Believe You Can. Regal pedigree. She's run okay in 2 starts going long. Now they cut back to the 7 furlong distance. It's the about 7 furlongs on the Beard course. The horse to beat is going to be Casa de Goat on the rail. First-time starter. This is tough for a first-time starter to win 7 furlongs here at Keeneland, but that's Brad Cox, Flavian Pratt, and a really big workout tab. So I get it that Casa de Goat's going to be very tough in here, but first-time starters are not quite what we're looking for in these races at 7 furlongs. 9 have won out of 25, so it's like a 16-9 edge for experienced horses in these races. It's not an impossibility, but the lean is to go with the experience. I'm going to take Faith's Reward, but I really do not have much faith in this race. There's only an 8-horse field. You're not going to get a lot in terms of the exotics, tries, and supers to get involved with. So this is like one of those, find a horse at a fair price, make a win bet, and move on, and try to survive the first leg of the pick 5. I think you definitely want to use Casa de Goat, no question about it. Faith's Reward, the 5, and if you're going to add somebody else in there, Catlings makes sense off the one race last time out at Fairgrounds, showing some speed down towards the inside. Catwing certainly could get the victory here. That horse ran a decent 3rd in the first time at Keeneland last fall, Catwing. So, not going to argue if you want to use that one. I don't like anybody in the 6th race. I'll just be honest with you. If you're playing multi-race bets and you see how things stack up, I mean, you kind of look, right? Late pick 5, and it starts with a race you don't really like. Maybe that tells you should be in the pick 4, right? Because you're kind of grasping for straws and throwing stuff against the wall and just hoping you survive the first leg of the pick 5. I would take more of my budget and play it in the late pick 4 than the late pick 5 based on the way I feel about the 6th race. So strategy-wise, we also have 2 key plays in the late pick 4 and pick 5 in races 7 and 9. So there's sequences we want to get involved with, and maybe you just spread as far as you can in the 6th because of having a stronger opinion in the 7th and the 9th and see what we can come up with in some of those other races. Let's move on now to that 7th race. It's an allowance going on the turf at 1 mile and a 16th. We go to the big board on race number 7 of the handicappers picks, and I'm on Market Rumor here. This is one of my key plays of the day. Market Rumor also picked by Kim Nelson, so there's not an island. We got a little island workmate with this. Kim Nelson's going to work out on Market Rumor as well in race number 7. Keeper of Time, obviously a horse that a lot of folks have respect for across the way. Flip It, Gam's Mission. Also getting top picks in here. So 4 different horses get a top pick in the 7th race. That tells you it's a little wide open. So maybe we can zig when others zag. If it looks like a wide open race and we've got one of our key plays in here, that's a good thing. When everybody else is going 4 and 5 deep and trying to fish around, if we're focused, we can maybe get a good price in the win pool and also hammer this horse in the multi-race wagers, including that Keeneland Turf Pick 3. Now, why do we like the runner in this race? Why are we going with our 6-1 proposition Market Rumor? Well, back on October 15th, this horse ran 4th in a good race at Keeneland here during the fall meet. That was a race where Sweet Melania was kind of the key horse in there. She was classy front-running mare. She went to the front like she always does, and she got run down by Curly Ruth that day. And we told you, that was an impressive performance to run down Sweet Melania. That was a very good race and one you want to keep your eye on moving forward. Curly Ruth already won this at this meet. I think paid $17, maybe $16. Really nice payoff on Curly Ruth already at the meet. The 3rd place finisher out of that race already came back to win. Not this meet, but since that race. But it is a very key race, October 15th at Keeneland, the 7th race. It's already produced one nice winner for us on this on this season. And Market Rumor makes the 2nd start since then. I think Ian Wilkes will have this one keyed and ready to go for Keeneland. Got beat only 3 lengths in that race to Curly Ruth, again, who's already come back to win at the meet. Sweet Melania, the runner-up, is a graded stakes-type performer on the front end. 3rd place finishers won since then. I just think Market Rumor's coming out of a really good race, and I'm looking forward to Chris Landeros and Ian Wilkes bringing in this one as the 2nd leg of the Keeneland Turf Pick 3 and also the kickoff leg of the late Pick 4. Number 8, Market Rumor, our key race play. Looking for 2 wins. Curly Ruth already got the cash register going once this meet. We'll see if Market Rumor can add to that and make it a 2-time key race for us, cashing out some winners. Let's go to the 8th race on the card. We've got 2 stakes races coming up. The 8th race is the Ben Ally. This is in the handicap division. These are horses who their next start could be something like the Pimlico Special would be a good race for horses coming out of the Ben Ally. The Stephen Foster at Churchill along that path as the summer progresses. These are the older horses, and we've got some good ones in here. Proxy is a horse who last year was on the Louisiana Derby Trail and ran 4th in the Lexington here before going on the sidelines. He's come back to run well. 2nd place finisher last time in a New Orleans Classic down at Fairgrounds. Running behind Olympiad, who's one of the top handicap horses in the country right now. So Proxy comes out of good races. Dynamic One, another son of Union Rags. We talked about his success as a sire here at Keeneland. Todd Pletcher's won this race multiple times. Pletcher with 9 furlong, 1 mile and an 1/8 horses at Keeneland does an exceptional job. He's got more wins at 1 mile and an 1/8 than anybody at Keeneland. Dynamic One with Irad Ortiz, certainly a major contender. You got Warrant, who won last year's Oklahoma Derby as a 3-year-old at Remington Park. He came back and almost won the Santa Anita Handicap, running 2nd to Express Train. Express Train would be a solid favorite in this race, a real quality West Coast handicap division horse. Warrant comes out of good races. It's Brad Cox. It's Flavian Pratt. A lot to like about Warrant. A really good group here. I think it comes down to 3, though. Proxy, Dynamic One, and Warrant. I just think they're stronger than the rest. You got Mighty Heart in there, who's a Canadian, 2/3 of the Triple Crown, won the Queen's Plate and the Prince of Wales. Quality horse in Mighty Heart. But for me, it comes down to Proxy. Probably the favorite will be Warrant with a 104 Beyer speed figure last time. But I'm going to take my lean towards Dynamic One. I like Todd Pletcher going 9 furlongs. And I like the Union Rags pedigree here over the track at Keeneland. First start locally for Dynamic One. Last year's winner or second place finisher in the Wood Memorial, coming off a win at coming off a third place finish at Tampa Bay Downs last time, behind Scalding, who comes back in this race. Scalding's got a little bit more speed. That was at 1 mile and a 16th. I think the pace is going to be a little quicker here than what Scalding had at Tampa. So as they go a little bit further to the 1 mile and an eighth with more pace pressure from horses like Mighty Heart, I think Scalding would be vulnerable to beating Dynamic One again. Longer distance, better pace setup. I think Dynamic One can flip the script on that one. Second start off the layoff, and you have Irad Ortiz. So I'm on Dynamic One in the 8th race, the Ben Ally. Let's see what my handicapping cohorts also have in that race. Warrant, Dynamic One for Scott. Warrant for Tom Leach. A Warrant for Kim Nelson, Proxy for Gabby Gaudet. The big three all have some representation in here, and there's a lot of 3, 4s, and 5s as you look across the way with the public handicappers. Let's keep it right here and look at the 9th race, the Elkhorn, where 2 Emmys is the top choice by 3 handicappers. Scott, Tom, and Kim all have 2 Emmys. Gabby's got 2 Emmys picked second, and I have no 2 Emmys anywhere. What am I doing here in the Elkhorn? Well, let's look at this field. The field of 9 in the Elkhorn, where they're going 1.5 miles on the turf, and there is a lot of speed in this race, early pace, including 2 Emmys. That's why I don't have 2 Emmys in my top 3. 2 Emmys from the 3 holes going to have speed. Phantom Currency from the 4 is probably fastest of all. Former turf champion Channel Maker is a front runner in the 5. Tiberius Mercurius is a front runner in the 6. So you see them lining up. 3, the 4, the 5, and the 6 are all going to go towards the front and battle each other over 1.5 miles. So I'm looking for closers to have their way in this race. And that's where we get to my third key play of the day, the Elkhorn race number 9. Closers at appealing prices. When you got 4 speed horses going 1.5 miles, I'm going to take my shot with horses coming from off the pace. I've got a long shot in here. Bama Breeze, who I think can be a big price. The 8, the 9, Another Mystery, and the 1, Bema's Boy. The 8, 9, and 1 are the Elkhorn closers that I'm really laying on, and I think all 3 will be good prices. I rarely ever bet a 3-horse exacta box. These are the rare exceptions when I think all the favorites are horses that can be beaten. All the horses in that 3-horse box kind of look the same. They have the same running styles, and they're all going to be prices. So I don't think that we need to, equal bets of all the exacta boxes is usually not a good bet. The horse I like best out of these, and the one I want to have the most combinations with, is Bama Breeze. So while I'll play an 8-9-1 exacta box in this race, I'll also get more combinations with the 8-9 and the 8-1, so that when the horse I like most runs and hits the board first or second, Bama Breeze, I'm going to get paid more. You got to weight your opinions with your money. If you're absolutely even on these 3 horses, then you could conceivably say an even Steven exacta box, and leaving it that is the right bet. But that's rarely the case. I do like one horse a little bit more than the others, and it's Bama Breeze. This is a horse who I think on a trip handicapping note, if you go back and watch the replay of the Sycamore in October, this horse was running steam on the turn and made a huge move and then completely flattened out. It was a poorly timed move. No offense to Joe Rocco Jr., the rider that day, but he moved too soon. Now we're going to Corey Lannery. You got a different rider. This horse last time out had no shot in the McKnight handicap down at Gulfstream Park. Aban was a steamroller on the front end back then. It was a front-running turf course at Gulfstream Park, and this horse just did a little bit from the back of the pack to close past a couple of horses, but that's not representative, I don't think. If Bama Breeze can reproduce that move that he made in the Sycamore and do it at the right time under Corey Lannery, who's a great rail-skimming jockey, saving ground, I get the feeling Bama Breeze is going to put a scare into him at a nice price for Rusty Arnold. We told you Rusty's had a really big week 3 here over the past several spring meets. So I've got Bama Breeze on top. The 9, Another Mystery. I've said it a million times. I love the Dynaformer pedigrees going 1.5 miles, and the Galileo pedigrees going 1.5 miles on the turf here at Keeneland. The Galileo pedigree won the 1.5 mile turf race today, so we look ahead for tomorrow. You've got that Dynaformer pedigree with Another Mystery, and also on the dam side, the Lord at War is the dam sire, one of my all-time favorite pedigree influences. You don't see many Lord at Wars even showing up as the grandsire or the grand dam anymore, or the dam sire, I should say, anymore. You don't see it often in a pedigree, but Another Mystery does have that. So those 2, and then the 1, Bema's Boy for the Red Hot Mike Maker barn. This is a horse who's run well over the track with a win on the turf course here at Keeneland, going 1.5 miles. So let's go 8, 9, and 1 with a little extra emphasis on the 8, and that's my key Elkhorn closers at nice prices in the 9th race. 10th and finals, we wrap up this edition of the Keeneland Look Ahead, is a race where I'm a little more nervous. I'll tell you this in my original handicapping. When I looked at this race a day or so ago and the entries came out and I started to put the work into this card, I thought the 3 Unikey was an absolute standout. Big speed figure last time in a quick time at Gulfstream Park. In the slop, Irad Ortiz riding for Terry Pompey. I love the jockey move here for that South Florida trainer to get, an ace A-list rider. The work is strong coming into this. And the Unikey race is one where, Cape Trafalgar came out of that race and didn't run well here first time at the meet. But the 3rd place finisher, Under Oath, came back and looked awesome. So it can be potentially a key race already. Cape Trafalgar misfired, but Under Oath, who this horse Unikey beat, came back and looked really good for Todd Pletcher. That was a Todd Pletcher trainee who won easily here in the return at the meet. Last week, I believe it was, or earlier this week. Under Oath was last week during week 2. But I thought Unikey would just be a complete standout. But as I look around and look at the selection box, you got B-Sud on top for Scott, B-Sud on top for Gabby, second choice for Tom, second choice for Kim Nelson. Some other handicappers around the country who I know and like and respect are all over B-Sud. It's Flavian Pratt, it's Dallas Stewart. It seems to me that there's a lot of steam for B-Sud. This horse is going to get bet. Maybe that will help our price on Unikey, but maybe it just makes this closer to a 2-horse race. I did not like B-Sud in my top 3 originally, and I thought he ran okay at Fairgrounds, but I didn't think there was anything there that I had to jump on. The Oaklawn race last time, or this horse ran at Oaklawn, he ran okay last year here at Keeneland in the debut, but the race at Oaklawn was just okay, and he got beat 4.5 in there. The Oaklawn horses aren't running, so I didn't really factor this horse in as a major player, but I could be wrong. There's a lot of steam and a lot of momentum building for B-Sud, but I'm going to hitch my wagon to Unikey in here and see if Irad Ortiz can't get us home. I also used the 2 and the 1, Condemn and Great Escape, but B-Sud probably, is one you could certainly be talked into. If you want to bet that horse straight up, make sure you take a look at the daily double Will pays in race 9 to 10, the probable daily doubles, and see who they're betting in race 10 ahead of time. You might find out that if you like B-Sud, he's getting killed in the doubles. Everybody's betting him. You're going to get no value when you get to race number 10. In that case, you'll want to play a daily double races 9 into race 10 and try to get a little more money that way if you really like B-Sud. I'm going to take a shot against him, but a lot of my friends are bullish on him, so let's see how it turns out. I'll take Unikey in race 10 to wrap the card on Saturday. 2 stakes races. We'll get it all started at 1 p.m. Eastern, but before that, be sure to tune in to Today at Keeneland with Scott Hazelton and Gabby Gaudette at 11:30 a.m. Eastern. That streams on the Keeneland simulcast feed. You can catch it on YouTube, and you can also get links to it on the social media channels for Keeneland and Bet Keeneland. We'll be back with you on Saturday night to take a look at the Sunday card. But until then, good luck at the races, and we'll see you tomorrow night.